What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video today. I told you I'd be getting that free agency video out to you. I know it's coming out a little bit later than I expected, but it's definitely coming out. And I had to think about the best way to make this kind of video. So I'm going to quickly explain how I'm going to kind of go through this video. For the most part, CBS Sports, they pretty much tracked each free agent move, where people went, and then gave their own grades on what they thought that team did. I'm gonna kind of scroll through, steal what they have. I wouldn't say steal, but I'm gonna look through. I'm gonna talk about each of these kind of moves that all the teams made, and they have their grade at the bottom. Like they gave Arizona by B minus. I'm gonna tell you if I agree or disagree with their grade, and then let you know what I would have given them. But I think this is the best way because I think going through like each player's individual move to a team would have taken a bit too long, and I don't really want to make this a super long video, considering we got 32 teams that we're probably going to go through. I'm going to go through each of them kind of very quickly, but then nonetheless, I'm going to tell you guys my thoughts and how I think about each team. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Also, if you're new around here, subscribe, check out my other videos. I'm mostly a PokeTuber, but still, I love doing content like this, and I love all the support you guys give me, so thank you so much. But without further ado, let's get into the video finally. So first up, we got Arizona Cardinals. They didn't do much until the very end. I am gonna add J.J. Watt, because that happened a bit before. So getting J.J. Watt, huge to pair up with Chandler Jones. Definitely helps that defense quite a lot. They lose Patrick Peterson, so that's really bad for their secondary. They're definitely gonna have to draft corners, unless they sign something soon. But considering that's really kind of the end of free agency, and there's just staggering effects at this point. I don't think much is going to happen there. But they kept Marcus Golden and Kelvin Beachum, which is really good. Those are two key players from moving forward. And getting A.J. Green and Rodney Hudson really helps that offense become even more potent than it already was. If A.J. Green is healthy and able to get through the season, it's going to be a huge help for Kyler Murray. He's going to have DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald. I think he's not retiring. He might be retiring, but I don't think so. But Larry Fitzgerald, DeAndre Hopkins, and A.J. Green to throw to. Those are three monster receivers that he'll have. I definitely predict Arizona to be a lot better in having offensive line fixed a little bit with Rodney Hudson. It's big, and then getting J.J. Watt on the defensive side. It's big. I would give Arizona Cardinals a B+, B+, honestly, and the CBS gave them a B-. So I grade them a little bit lower, but I would have given them a bit higher considering how they didn't do a lot, but the moves that they made were the right moves, if you get what I'm saying. Atlanta Falcons, all they did was really trade for Lee Smith. They really didn't do anything. They had a tight salary cap to begin with, so they gave him an incomplete. I guess it's kind of the same. I'm just gonna give him an F because they did nothing. They really did nothing. So Atlanta, you just traded for Lee Smith. That's all you did. I can't really grade you, honestly. It is an incomplete. Baltimore Ravens, I think Baltimore did pretty good. I think that their main priority was keeping what they had with Tyus Bowser, Pernell McPhee, and Derek Wolfe. And then, as you see at the bottom, yeah, Matthew Judon is going to be big not to have on the defense. But then getting Kevin Zeitler on offensive line to replace Marshall Yonda after so long, I think that's a big move. So I think that really cancels each other out because you're gaining something big on offense, but you're losing something big on defense. So I would grade this just a B. They really kept what they needed to do. They're still a really good team. They didn't lose anything. They have the draft coming up. So to me, I give Baltimore a B because they kind of kept where they're at and they're already a playoff team. So they didn't do much. Again, it's kind of not like what Atlanta did. They were able to keep their main pieces, so good job to Baltimore. Now, Buffalo. They re-signed Matt Milano. They re-signed Darrell Williams. They re-signed John Feliciano. And then they got Emmanuel Sanders. I would give them a B for this, honestly. Again, it's kind of like the Ravens. They just kept what they had, and they're building a little bit off of it. They didn't lose any huge players, I don't believe. And getting Emmanuel Sanders is going to be a big help for Josh Allen. He's not what he once was. I think he's definitely gotten a little worse after the 49ers with the Saints. So he's not that big play receiver that he usually is, but he's still an upgrade, in my opinion, over like a Cole Beasley or something like that. So Buffalo gets a B. It's the same as the Ravens. They re-signed what they needed to, and they added a weapon that they wanted. So overall, they didn't really do much to hurt or help their team. They just kind of stay where they are, and they're already a playoff team. They made the AFC Championship last year, so they're gonna have quite good news coming out for them in the future. Then we move on to Carolina Panthers. They franchise tagged Taylor Morton. They signed Pat Elfine. They signed Denzel Perriman, and they signed Hassan Reddick. The two big moves here are they signed Denzel Perriman and they signed Hassan Reddick. Those are two big moves for that defense. I think this is good. I think to me this is a B plus. Um, Again, they definitely did more than what the other two teams did above, but they definitely helped out that defense quite a lot, and they got good draft picks coming up. I don't know what they're doing if they're going after Deshaun Watson, but just off of this alone, I'd say they did pretty good for what they needed. That defense is definitely going to be a lot better than what it was last year, and then maybe they get a quarterback. Who knows? Um, but to me, this is a B plus for the Panthers. I don't know. Again, just looking at this, I don't know how much each player got. I think Hassan Reddick got like a 1 year, $8 million kind of deal. But I don't know the exact specifics of each player's contract. But Carolina Panthers getting Hassan Reddick and Denzel Perriman is definitely a huge upgrade. I give them a B plus for this. CBS gave them a B. Chicago Bears franchise tagged Allen Robinson, re-signed Mario Edwards, signed Andy Dalton, and re-signed Deion Bush. They get a D. If their solution is Andy Dalton, and apparently it is because they're saying that Andy Dalton was promised a starting job, this is a D. They didn't. The Chicago Bears are in the stuck place of not having a good quarterback, and it's really a problem for them. And they needed to go after somebody bigger. I know they tried to get Russell Wilson, they couldn't get him, but they just can't get the quarterback right, and until they do, their free agency doesn't really matter. They're not going to go anywhere. And frankly, this is just a D for me. They gave him a D plus, yeah, it figures. Until they get the right quarterback, the Chicago's just not going to be a good playoff team. Cincinnati, they signed Trey Hendrickson. They did lose Carl Lawson, but they signed Trey Hendrickson, and I think Trey Hendrickson is better than Carl Lawson, so I think that's an upgrade. They signed Chidobe Awuzie, and they signed Mike Hilton. I think Mike Hilton is pretty good. I don't know about Awuzie, but I think Mike Hilton is pretty good. So overall, I think I'd give the Cincinnati Bengals somewhere around a B plus. They definitely got upgrades to their squad. They lost a little bit by losing Carl Lawson. They also released Geno Atkins, which is unfortunate for them. He played so long, and he's been such a good defensive tackle run stuffer. So Cincinnati, after considering their gains and losses, I'd probably give them a B. Trey Hendrickson and Mike Hilton, definitely big for that defense. I'm assuming in the draft they'll go... Oh, and they also signed Riley Reif. I just remember that. They signed Riley Reif. It wasn't here, but it's not on here, but they did sign Riley Reif. So that is a help at offensive tackle. So I guess I'll give the Cincinnati Bengals somewhere around a B plus, A minus in that case. They still got a lot they could do at the draft, but I guess I'll give them a B plus. I'll give them a B plus. They give them a C plus. Yeah. Oh, and where's Joe Burrow's protection? They got Riley Reif, so I'll give them that. They got a B plus. Cleveland Browns, John Johnson, Takaris McKinley, re-signed Rashad Higgins. The biggest thing here is that they they signed John Johnson, and I think they also got Troy Hill. Actually, I believe they got Troy Hill as well. So those are two big moves for the Cleveland Browns on defense. I'm gonna give him an A minus. I'm gonna give him an A for that. I'm gonna agree with CBS. They get an A. Takaris McKinley, I'm not gonna look at too much. Getting Rashawn Higgins back is small. It's a small keep, but at the same time, he does a lot for that team, and who knows what's gonna happen with Odell Beckham. Cleveland Browns definitely become a better playoff team than what they were last year, so I have to give them that. And yeah, Cleveland definitely made a lot of good decisions in this free agency. So they get an A. They definitely get an A from me. Dallas Cowboys, C.J. Goodwin, and Ty Nsekhe. Nsekhe. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. They didn't do much. They really just didn't do much in free agency. Honestly, I don't think. I think, yeah, they just didn't do much. I wouldn't. I'll give them. I'll give them a D. They didn't improve or. Yeah, they just didn't improve or kind of lose. They just get a D. No improvement. I'm just gonna give it to teams that don't really improve or anything. So Cowboys get a D in my opinion. Moving on to Denver Broncos. Franchise tag Justin Simmons. They kept Von Miller, signed Ronald Darby, and re-signed Shelby Harris. Now these are big moves to keep. It's really big that they keep Shelby Harris, Von Miller, and Justin Simmons. That was the right thing to do. They needed to do that. They lost Phillip Lindsay, which is a shame because Phillip Lindsay is a really good running back. And they didn't just franchise tag Justin Simmons; they actually signed him to a longer contract, so it's good for him. But it's tough to say. Because they really did keep a lot of their good players, and they signed Ronald Darby as well. I'll give them a B or a B minus. I'll give them a B minus. They kept what they needed. They were able to keep people to long term contracts. So I'm gonna say that this is a B minus in my opinion. They give them a C plus. All right, I'll give them a B minus. Again, they just kind of kept the same players. They really got to upgrade in the draft. Drew Lock isn't their quarterback. They really need to do a lot more. So, Detroit Lions re-signed Romeo Okwara, signed Jamal Williams, and traded for Michael Brockers. I don't think that Jamal Williams was that great of a trade, or a pickup, because they have DeAndre Swift, and he looks to be a pretty good running back. They also have I think they still have Adrian Peterson. I don't know if he went somewhere else, but they got Adrian Peterson and DeAndre Swift. So I don't know how much Jamal Williams is going to impact that team. But keeping Romeo Okwara is good. You have to keep the only good players that you have. Detroit Lions have been a joke for so long. And trading for Michael Brockers, also really good move. I think I'll count the Jared Goff and Matt Stafford trade in that as well. So overall, I think I'd give Detroit a B minus. Michael Brockers is probably definitely the best headline for them. Getting Michael Brockers is a good pass rusher to go with Romeo Okwara. So I think I'll give him a B minus for this. Again, a little bit better than what CBS has, but yeah, a B minus for them sounds good. I still don't have high expectations for Detroit though. Moving on to Green Bay. I didn't expect to see a TBD, but TBD, they kept Aaron Jones. Again, I'll give them a D or an F, whatever. They just didn't do anything. So I can't really say what they did. I don't think they lost that many points. Oh, actually, I'll give them an F, and strictly because they lost Corey Linsley. If you had to get rid of Corey Linsley because you signed Aaron Jones, that was a bad move. You needed Corey Linsley is such a big help as a center. It's really bad for the Packers to lose him. Their offensive line is what they're known for. I don't know if they're really going to be able to get that good of a center back. So I have to say, getting rid of Corey Linsley just gives them an F. Besides that, they didn't do much else. So yeah, that's enough for me. Houston Texans, they did quite a lot. Wow, I didn't realize how much they did. They got Marcus Cannon, they got Shaq Lawson for Bernard McKinney, they signed Mark Ingram, they signed Kamu Gregor-Hill, signed Kirksey, Roberts, Collins, Hargraves, Taylor, Mitchell, Brown, and they also signed Phillip Lindsay. It doesn't say here. And they did quite a lot, actually. They've been pretty busy. The biggest thing that I see here is that they signed Tyrod Taylor, meaning that they're probably getting ready to let go of Deshaun Watson, honestly. They signed Marcus Cannon, which is a help on the offensive line, and then they took Shaq Lawson because they needed more pass rush help. And then they signed 2 running backs, which is interesting considering they have David Johnson. I don't know what that means for David Johnson. But overall, I think I'll give the Texans a B. They signed a lot of small players that probably helped them out. They're probably getting ready for Deshaun Watson to go. So I think overall I have to give this a B in my opinion. They signed a lot of players, but it doesn't mean that they're the right players. I think their biggest new additions are probably Cannon, Lawson for McKinney, Phillip Lindsay, Christian Kirksey, I'd say, Vernon Hargraves, and Tyrod Taylor. Those are probably their biggest helps. That's a lot of moves, but it doesn't mean that they're the right moves. But I'll give them a B. I'll give them a B for this. They gave him a C. Yeah, I'll give them a B. Maybe I'm grading things a little too nicely. Indianapolis Colts re-signed Marlon Mack. Again, that's about all they did. And they got Carson Wentz. But they did lose Danico Autry. I said here or so. Overall, they have incomplete. I would probably give them a C. Getting Carson Wentz was probably a good deal, quite frankly, but losing Danico Autry is a big it's a big loss for that defensive front. So overall, they're still definitely a playoff team, absolutely. So they get a C. They didn't really improve. They kind of lost a bit. Depending on how Carson Wentz plays for them, it'll be a big deal. But as of for now, moving on to Jacksonville Jaguars. Tad Robinson. Let me just say the biggest ones. Keeping Cam Robinson is big for the offensive line. Shaquille Griffin, big signing. Let's see what else. Carlos Hyde, it's meh. Marvin Jones is a good one, and then probably trading for Malcolm Brown. Those are probably their biggest moves. I know Rayshon Jenkins and Roy Robert Harris are here. I don't know what they play like, honestly, so I couldn't tell you if they're good or bad. But Jacksonville Jaguars, I'll probably give them an A- for this, honestly. They didn't spend, I mean, I guess they did spend quite a lot. But I think that they got what they needed. And getting Trevor Lawrence in the draft is going to be a big help for them. Really, really big. But overall, I think they did pretty well in this free agency. I'll give them an A- for sure. They'll improve definitely over last year without a doubt. How much they improve, I don't know. I still don't think that they're a playoff team yet. I'd probably put them around 2 games 500 next year if I had to say. But it's a start. It's a start for Urban Meyer. So overall, I think I'll give them an A- for this. Let's see what CBS has. CBS has them giving a C+. Interesting. I guess they don't think too highly of the players that they signed. Kansas City Chiefs signed Joe Thuney, signed Kyle Long, released Damon Williams, and re-signed Taco Charlton. Overall, I'm going to have to give them a C. I think a C is worthy. They got Joe Thuney and Kyle Long, which are really big, assuming Kyle Long plays to what he was before retiring. These two on the inside absolutely help protect Patrick Mahomes. But they had to release Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz in the process. So it kind of cancels out, honestly. So they're going to protect Mahomes, but what about from the inside? But what about from the outside? I just don't know. I have to give them a C, I think. They gave them an A. Wow. We are really not on the same page. CBS Sports. Wow, I didn't think about that. Moving on to Las Vegas. They signed Yannick Ngakoue. They traded Rodney Hudson. They signed John Brown. And they re-signed Zay Jones. So the two big things here are trading Rodney Hudson and then signing Yannick Ngakoue. It definitely helps that defense what they really needed by getting Yannick Ngakoue. But it hurts the O-line by trading Rodney Hudson. So it's a tough one to grade. I probably agree with B-, honestly. I don't think the Raiders are going to be a playoff team next year. I don't, because I really don't think I can believe in John Gruden as much as everybody might believe in him. I don't really believe in him, especially after kind of just not performing to what people expected last year. So I don't think I can give them. I can't give them any higher than a B-. It's just a B- for them. Los Angeles Chargers signed Corey Linsley, re-signed Michael Badgley, re-signed Michael Davis. I'm gonna give them an A strictly because they just signed Corey Linsley. Corey Linsley is absolutely what they need. Oh, actually, make that a A- because Denzel Perriman signed with the Panthers, and they lost him. But getting Corey Linsley is such a big help to the offensive line, and Justin Herbert's going to need the protection. I think 5 years, 62.5. I think he's definitely worth that much. Corey Linsley, definitely a monster upgrade for them at center, and really what they need. So overall, I'll give them an A-. Yeah. Losing Denzel Perriman, and I guess Casey Hayward as well. That holds them back from being an A, but getting Corey Linsley is such a big help. Rams re-signed Leonard Floyd as well as traded for Stafford. I'll give them a D. They didn't do much. They did get Stafford and they just kept Floyd. It just not much. They didn't do much. I can't really grade them. So they gave them an incomplete probably. Oh, they gave them a B. Wow, I can't believe they even gave them a B. But still, that's about it. My Miami Dolphins. Let's see. We acquired Isaiah Wilson, who we already traded away. Or not traded. We already cut. I just read yesterday. I think we cut Isaiah Wilson. So I can't really count that as a move because we didn't really lose anything. We got Benerick McKinney for Lawson. We signed Justin Coleman. We lost Kyle Van Noy. We got Mascara, and we also signed Will Fuller, which it doesn't say on here, which is a big move. Of course, they gave us a C without having the other details, but we gained a lot of depth positions until we got Will Fuller, which was our big signing. Overall, I would give us a B minus or a C plus. I'd probably give us a B minus because I thought we would spend more than what we did, but our biggest need was not completely taken care of, but it's a nice start by getting Will Fuller. We needed wide receivers, so now we have Will Fuller to go with Devontae Parker. It's definitely a big move for us, and that's really what I was looking for our team. So I'll give us a B minus because we got what we needed, and then we just got depth. We didn't spend much. We got draft picks coming up. It's not too bad. Minnesota Vikings signed Dalvin Tomlinson, signed Nick Vigil, re-signed Chad Beebe, and signed Patrick Peterson. But they also lost Riley Reif. I think for them, I'm going to give them a B plus. They did pretty good. Dalvin Tomlinson and Patrick Peterson are definitely going to make a big help on that defense that was terrible last year, absolutely terrible. So those two moves really helped them out. And Riley Reif on offensive line, it's a big loss. So kind of canceling those two out, but also gaining. I'll give them a B plus for this. They definitely upgraded. I still don't think they'll be a playoff team next year. I even with the 7 they might be, but I don't think they will. I still don't think so, especially if they keep Kirk Cousins. So overall, I have to give this a B plus. I don't think I can give it anything more. New England Patriots. I'm just gonna give them an A. I'm honestly just gonna give them an A already. They signed exactly what they want. They knew what they wanted. They signed so much, and a lot of it was good. Biggest moves are at the top: Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, Matthew Judon, Jalen Mills, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne. I mean, you could see everything that they signed. It's an absolute overhaul of what they needed. They're having all their COVID opt-outs coming back next year. I think they're definitely going to be a playoff team next year. So overall, I have to give the Patriots an A plus. I hate them, but they did such a good job. They really did. Belichick, the general manager, came through because he knows he can't draft. So overall, this is an A plus. I don't think it can be anything else. They got most if not everything that they needed. So all they really need to find out is if they got the quarterback right. Yeah, next up, a real QB. That's all they really need to find out. Ty Marcus Williams, re-sign Winston, re-sign Hurst. It's an automatic F for me, and why is that? It's because Drew Brees retired. Whether it's Winston or Hill, I think one of them will actually work out. I hope it's Winston, FSU alum. But I think it'll actually work out for a quarterback in New Orleans. But you still can't replace Drew Brees no matter how much. So just for that reason alone, it's an F. And they didn't do much else besides that. They had to cut a lot of people due to cap space. I think they were the highest team over the cap space at about $100 million. I don't even think I'm exaggerating there. I think that they were that much over the cap space that they had to cut down quite a lot. So New Orleans, you definitely, it's an F. You had to cut a lot of people. You lost your Brees. It is what it is. So they're giving me a B minus. I'm giving them an F. You lose Drew Brees. That's just automatic for me. New York Giants re-signed Leonard Williams, signed Devontae Booker, signed John Ross, signed Ifedi Odenigbo. And the other move they didn't put on here is Kenny Golladay, 4 years, $72 million. So that right there probably tells me that this is going to be. I think I have to give him an A minus. You keep Leonard Williams, you get help at receiver with John Ross as well as Kenny Golladay, which is a huge upgrade. And you signed Devontae Booker again in case Saquon gets injured or you have him as a backup. It's not a bad deal. So again, I think I have to give him an A minus for this. The Giants really did well. They gave them a C. They need help. Daniel Jones with real playmakers. They don't have it on here, so that's why they gave him such a low grade. But getting Kenny Golladay absolutely makes up for it. So you guys get an A minus. Good job, New York. You might actually win the division next year. Honestly, you really, really could. So for that, I have to give you an A minus. Moving on to the Jets. Oof, gotta hurry it up along here. Moving on to the Jets, they re-signed Marcus May, and then Corey Davis and Carl Lawson are their big moves. With Gerard Davis being a sneaky, underhanded move. So overall, I think the Jets actually got a B plus. It's either a B plus or an A minus. They did pretty well with what they did. Maybe they overpaid a little bit for Carl Lawson, in my opinion. Corey Davis is probably right on the money, and getting Marcus May, keeping Marcus May, and also getting Gerard Davis, actually really well. So I'll probably have to give him a B minus A plus, or not B, a B plus A minus here. I probably give them the B plus because they might have overpaid just a little bit. They still did really well. They got a lot of draft picks coming up. Who knows what they do with Sam Darnold? But either way, I think these are some good moves. So they give him an A. I'll give him a B plus. But still, really, really well done by the Jets. Philadelphia did about nothing. All they did was get rid of Carson Wentz. They get an F. They just did nothing. Again, like the Falcons, you do nothing, you don't get a grade. Next thing up, Pittsburgh Steelers. Re-signed Cameron Sutton, Zach Banner, released Vince Williams, as well as restructured Big Ben's contract. I'm going to give you a D. You didn't do much. You kept some players, but you also lost Mike Hilton, I believe. You didn't really get any good players. You lost Bud Dupree, actually. You're actually going to get a D minus. You lost Bud Dupree, which is huge. And that's about it. You guys just didn't do much. San Francisco re-signed Kyle Juszczyk, which is big. Emmanuel Mosley, big. Jason Verrett, big. You signed Samson Ebukam. You re-signed Trent Williams, big, and you signed Alex Mack. I'm actually going to, even though you did not much, I'm going to give you an A. Keeping Trent Williams and Kyle Juszczyk were definitely big priorities, as well as, and then smaller but still big priorities, Emmanuel Mosley and Jason Verrett. You guys actually did really good in keeping the players you wanted, and you got some help with Samson Ebukam on the defensive line, as well as Alex Mack on the offensive line. I think there's nothing else to say, but you guys actually did really well here. You guys are going to be I think I don't know what you're going to do at quarterback. All your success depends on that for the most part. But you guys definitely did good. You get your injury, the people that were injured last year back. You guys should really be good to go, honestly. So, as a 49ers fans, you guys have something to look forward to. I'll give them an A. They really did what they needed to. So, 49ers, good job. Seattle Seahawks. You signed Gerald Everett. You traded for Gabe Jackson. And then outside of that, you guys lost. Who'd you lose? Shaquille Griffin. I'll keep it at a C for you guys. Gerald Everett and Gabe Jackson definitely helped Russell Wilson on offense. There's no doubt about that. But losing Shaquille Griffin on defense is a big loss. And your defense wasn't that great to start with, so I think I have to just. I'm going to agree with CBS. Keep it at a C. Tampa Bay, re-signed Barrett, re-signed Godwin, re-signed Levante David, re-signed Gronk, re-signed Suckup. You didn't sign anyone. All you did was keep the players that you did. And you guys won a Super Bowl, so I have to give you an A for that. I have to give you an A because you're the Super Bowl champion, and you kept the players that made you a Super Bowl champion. So they agree. It's an A. I think it's a no doubter. I don't know what's in store for Leonard Fournette, but yeah, you guys did pretty good. So not too bad. You guys kept the players that you needed to. Tennessee Titans signed Bud Dupree. You signed Danico Autry. You signed Kendall Lamb. You released Jackson. You released Kelly. You got Janoris Jenkins. You re-signed Jayon Brown. And you signed Morgan Cox. So you got some losses, but you also got some help. Releasing Adoree Jackson, Dennis Kelly, not the greatest, but you signed Bud Dupree and Danico Autry, which are two huge players for you at pass rusher that you really needed. So even though you lost players, I'm going to give you a B because I believe those two on defense are bigger factors than what you released. So overall, Tennessee Titans did pretty good. They'll be back. I think they'll be back in the playoffs for sure. Whether they win the division or not, I don't know. I think it's going to be tough with the Colts. But either way, Tennessee, you guys did what you needed to, and you did really good. So you guys get a B. Washington, you franchise signed Brandon Scherf. You signed my boy Ryan Fitzpatrick. You re-signed Hopkins. But you signed William Jackson and Curtis Samuel. The biggest thing here is signing Curtis Samuel, helping offense out. Also, Ryan Fitzpatrick, a bit underrated move. They got a quarterback that's still pretty competent. I love Ryan Fitzpatrick. There's not more in the world I can say about him. Such a good guy. But Ryan Fitzpatrick and Curtis Samuel help your offense quite a lot. It's an upgrade over Alex Smith, in my opinion. Taylor Heineke isn't going to be a starter. So I think that they get a B plus for this. I think it helps them better be able to win their division. They gave him an A. I'll give him a B plus. It definitely those two moves themselves definitely help become a better football team. And yeah, that's it. We actually got through that. Not too bad. But let me know what you guys think overall. Let me know what you agree, whether you agree with my opinions or CBS opinions more. Comment down below what you think, which team had the best free agency overall. And yeah, if you're new around here, subscribe. If you liked the video, hit the like button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Nuzlocke video coming out Wednesday. By the way, I did grind, finally. We're not going to be losing more Pokemon than we did. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have a great week, great weekend. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.